All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. We're so excited that you're here today. I am Rebecca Elliott, head of US Apparel, and today I am thrilled to discuss the new condition guidance rollout and how it will benefit your eBay selling journey. All right. This functionality is currently live and should be leveraged to best describe your pre-loved listings. The updated options include pre-owned excellent, which translates to previously worn but with little to no signs of wear. Pre-owned good, which means gently used with light signs of wear. And pre-owned fair, with visible flaws and heavy signs of wear. Here's a really great visual of how this improved functionality comes to life in your selling journey. It's important to note that all active pre-loved listings are currently defaulted to pre-owned good. We encourage you to update active listings as needed in the Seller Hub using the bulk listing update tool. Currently, this improved functionality is available across all major apparel categories, a big win. Men's, women's, kids, baby, and toddler clothing, in addition to men's, women's, and kids' vintage clothing. And last but not least, fancy dress and period costume, wedding and formal occasion, and world and traditional clothing. So why are accurate conditions so critical? This will not come as a surprise to anyone in this group, I'm sure. First and foremost, they build trust. A clear representation of condition is the best way to reduce SNAD. Two, they help increase visibility by better enabling the right product to surface for the right buyer in search results. And three, they reduce returns. A clear representation of condition greatly enhances the probability of a happy buyer. And now I am very happy to pass it over to Ramina, who is going to walk you guys through some best practices and FAQs. Take it away, Ramina.
Thank you, Rebecca. Can you hear me all right? Good. Hi, everyone. My name is Romina, and I am part of the US fashion team. I'm very excited to be here today to go over some best practices and frequently asked questions that are related to these new pre-love conditions. So moving on to the next slide. Thank you. So what you see on the screen right now is a chart that the eBay fashion team has built to really help you as a seller provide condition examples so that you can use this as guidance anytime that you need to select between these three new conditions. So you can find this chart on the condition guidance seller center page that we will be pinning on the chat very soon. Moving on to the next slide. So what do you need to do? It is super important that you start to familiarize yourself with these new conditions and descriptions and to start updating your listings as soon as possible. For new listings, you will get the option to select between the three new item conditions when you start to list a pre-loved clothing item. But how do you take action to update your existing listings? You can revise existing listings at any point in time on My eBay under Selling Activity and finding the listing you'd like to revise. You can also revise your listings in bulk using one of our bulk listing tools. If you use a third-party provider to manage your listings, you can access and use the new condition options through these tools as well. Moving on to some frequently asked questions. So what happens if, what happens if the item condition that I've selected doesn't necessarily accurately describe my item? So selecting the correct item condition is your responsibility and is crucial for your listing success. If the item condition is inaccurate, your listings might not appear in relevant search results, and you could experience an increase in returns or negative feedback from buyers, which can ultimately impact your seller standard. Moving on to the next one. Will eBay protect me if the buyer wants to return an item because the item condition wasn't as expected? If the new condition expansion causes your item not as described rates to increase, we will automatically put temporary protections to your store. However, please continue to handle any returns in a timely manner to avoid a case closed without seller resolution. We will also provide free return labels for eligible item not as described return requests until March 31st, 2025. To qualify, the return must be for an item listed under one of the newly defined pre-owned conditions. Moving on to the next one. Last but not least, I have an item that will go through as an authenticity guarantee. How will condition guidance affect my listing? New conditions are also being applied to all existing clothing listings that are eligible for authenticity guarantee, which is $200 plus clothing inventory from eligible brands. Please, just like with the rest of your pre-owned inventory, update your listings to your existing listings to reflect the right condition to ensure that every item passes the authentication process. And with that, I'm gonna hand it over back to Rebecca for some Q&A fun.
All right, it looks like we've had a few really great questions come through in the Q&A, and I'll go ahead and highlight some of those. So one question that came through is, what is SNAD? That's an interesting eBay acronym. It stands for significantly not as described. And essentially, like, what that means is that the buyer receives the product and it's inconsistent with the way it was represented on the platform. This is one of the biggest drivers of negative buyer satisfaction, and something that we're really trying to combat, I guess you could say, with this new condition guidance rollout. Let's see. Can I watch a replay of these sessions? I want to see this one and the AI one. And the answer is yes. You'll be able to rewatch all of these with the replay tab after they conclude. That's great. Can you give a step-by-step method to bulk edit check all existing pre-loved fashion listings? And Nick has provided a great response here. The active listings page, you can select all or select specific listings. You click edit, and this will take you to the bulk editor view. From this view, you can filter by item condition and then make the bulk edits to change the condition to any of the new options. Let's see if we have any new questions that have come through. Is it necessary to include the condition in the description, or is it okay to just write any notes about it in the seller's condition notes? You may choose to add notes to the condition description section or within the listing description itself. The condition notes section is quickly visible to the buyer upon clicking on the listing. It's helpful. Will accessories be part of this program in the future? From Lizbeth. I think the hope is that eventually this would be rolled out to all fashion categories. apparel is the first, and we're really excited about that. So unfortunately, we don't have a timeline for you today, but yes, I think the goal is that eventually this will be rolled out in a broader way. Let's see if I have missed anything here.
I see a comment from Heather saying, hopefully this will help prevent returns for condition not as described. And yes, that is the whole intent and the reason why we're doing this. We're hoping that we will help with that, and we will avoid as many condition not as described and returns, snap returns. So yes, Heather.
Let's see, several people in the chat have asked whether this will be a search function. I think this is an initiative that we have newly rolled out, but that's great feedback and something that we're already taking into consideration as the program evolves. So I think there will be more exciting things to come, and including the functionality in search is possibly one of those things. We love your suggestions. Let's see. What else do we have here?
So Caroline A said, I have condition in the 2 places and in the photos. Do I still have to update my 900 plus listings? I'm not sure what the 2 places mean, but you definitely want to update your 900 listings, and that's why the bulk listing tool should be really handy so that you're able to do that. We recognize and understand this is time consuming, and we really appreciate your partnership to taking the time to update these listings. But yes, ideally you would be updating all of those.
A great question from Barbara Jones came through. Is the authentication process automatic, or do we have to opt in somewhere? Authenticity guarantee is automatic as long as the item listed meets the requirements of the program. We can try and drop the requirements of the program in the chat. But no, you don't have to opt in. Let's see. The distressed look is really popular in vintage clothing. People look for distressed clothing and jewelry. How would you suggest to mark this with the new guidelines? I think that the 3 sort of buckets, I guess you could say, of conditions should make that pretty clear. You're right. Distressed is, something that people actively search for. It is an aesthetic. And I think this new condition guidance will probably make it easier for buyers who are interested in that aesthetic to find your listings more easily. That is the hope, definitely. Let's see. Any other questions? Any other questions from the group? Okay. Oh, here we go. We have one coming in from Ruth. Typically, is it better to have a short and sweet description for an item as long as the required specifics are complete, or a longer detailed written description? I ask because when I look at a description from a clothing manufacturer, they're usually very short. I think the length is less important than the accuracy. We would encourage you to be concise and clear in your descriptions. I think that's probably the best advice that I can give you. Accuracy is what's really important. Let's see. Do you have a ballpark of what percentage of items would qualify as each condition category, sort of like a bell curve? I love this question because we love data and we love making decisions based on data. I think this is a new program, and what we're seeing is that sellers are actively engaging with the new functionality. So in terms of an expectation as to how many listings will fall into each condition grade, we're still learning there. But I appreciate the question. How do you handle vintage shoes when the tops are in excellent condition, but the soles show wear? I think that's a great question. I think it's important to provide really accurate imagery that would show to the buyer sort of the difference in condition between the soles and the tops. And I would err probably on the side of like being more conservative in the condition that you apply to it. Let's see. I just tried to bulk edit all auctions in the clothing category, and only column that came up was condition, which was text entered by myself. It does not offer a pre-owned drop down where I can select eBay's condition ratings. That is a great question, John, and I'm sorry to hear that you're running into trouble. I think what we can do is link out perhaps one more time, Romina, the landing page with the instructions, and hopefully that will help.
We definitely see the feedback on the chat that there's been a little bit of challenge with the bulk listing tool. So we're gonna take that back to our teams. We want to make sure that we are making it as easy as possible. So please keep the feedback coming. And if there's an opportunity to provide a better training, we will be reaching out, because we definitely want you guys to feel comfortable and like know how to leverage these tools. We know it's critical for your time management to be able to do this in bulk. So thank you for being honest, and we will take the feedback and make sure that we address it.
Great. From Steve Sharp, just out of curiosity, what percent of eBay sales does fashion make up? I can't share that level of detail with you, but I think what I will say is that fashion continues to be a really critical piece of eBay's go forward strategy, and it is obviously driven by really engaged sellers like yourself. So we're so happy that you are all able to participate in the session today. Really appreciate your engagement. Let's see if we have any more questions. And if we don't have any more questions, then I think we can go ahead and wrap a couple minutes early. It was so nice to spend time with you guys today. We're really excited about this improved functionality on my team. We hope that you are too. We really believe that this will drive incrementality in all of your businesses. Keep the feedback coming. We love feedback. And again, so appreciative for your engagement. Have a great weekend, everybody.